It all started on what was supposed to be a quiet Sunday afternoon. I was finally enjoying some peace by my pool. Just me, the sun, and a cold drink. But that calm didn't last long. Out of nowhere, my gate creaked open, and in walked ***, the HOA lady from down the street. You know the type. Always watching, always complaining. Let's just call her Karen ***. Without knocking, without texting, she just waltzed in like she owned the place, claiming she had the right to inspect my pool for safety standards. Mind you, this is my private backyard. At first, I thought maybe she was just being nosy again, but then she sat down like it was her personal spa day. That's when I knew things had gone too far. I politely asked her to leave, but she gave me a lecture about HOA policies and how community standards gave her permission. Spoiler, they don't. That's when I got an idea. Maybe a little harmless prank to remind her where the boundaries are. Literally. So the next weekend, I made a small upgrade. The pool looked the same, but instead of chlorine, I added a little something else. Slippery, blue, and very noticeable. Let's just say, what happened next left Karen stunned and soaking wet. Before I tell you what happened with the slippery blue gel, let me give you a little background on Karen and why this whole situation got so intense. She's the kind of HOA rep who takes her role way too seriously. Like, she treats every little thing like it's a big crime. She's been known in the neighborhood for showing up unannounced, checking on fences, mailboxes, and yes, pools. Always with a clipboard and a serious scowl. Honestly, most of us just try to keep things low-key around her to avoid unnecessary drama. But with me, it's different. Maybe she thinks I'm a troublemaker because I've spoken up a few times when rules seemed unfair or enforced oddly. Or maybe it's because I actually like to enjoy my backyard without someone policing every move. Either way, she's made it clear she's going to keep an eye on me. And trust me, that's not a phrase you want coming from an overzealous HOA lady. So, after her unexpected pool visit last weekend, I knew I had to do something. Not something mean, but something that would make her think twice before barging in again. I wanted to protect my space without starting a full-blown neighborhood war. That's where the blue gel comes in. It looked harmless at first glance, just a fun, shimmering color floating in the water. But the moment she dipped her toes in, things changed. What happened next? You won't believe it. The moment Karen stepped into the pool after I swapped the chlorine for that slippery blue gel, everything shifted. She tried to stand still, but her feet kept sliding in ways that looked almost comical if it wasn't so awkward. You could see the surprise on her face, the kind of surprise that quickly turned into frustration. She started yelling about how unsafe my pool was, accusing me of trying to sabotage the community's safety rules. I just stood back, trying not to laugh, knowing I'd finally given her a taste of her own medicine. But here's where things got complicated. Word started spreading through the neighborhood about what happened. Some people thought I was overreacting, calling it petty or immature. Others quietly admitted they'd been annoyed by Karen's constant hovering too. I suddenly found myself in the middle of a bigger conflict, more than just a prank gone right. Now, it was about who really had the right to control how we live in our own homes. Meanwhile, Karen didn't just disappear. She showed up at the next HOA meeting, clearly furious and demanding action. She claimed my dangerous pool was a violation of community rules and said I was putting neighbors at risk. At the same time, some neighbors started questioning the HOA's power, and the whole neighborhood felt divided. It wasn't just about a pool anymore. It was about freedom, control, and respect. And just when I thought things couldn't get more tense, I noticed something strange. Someone else seemed to be watching me closely. But who? And why? That's when the real mystery began. After that HOA meeting, things started to feel like they were spiraling out of control. Karen wasn't backing down. In fact, she seemed more determined than ever to make me pay for what she called reckless behavior. She sent emails, made calls, and even talked to other board members about imposing fines for pool contamination. It felt like every time I turned around, there was another note or warning slipped under my door. The whole neighborhood was buzzing, and honestly, it was exhausting trying to keep up with all the drama. But while Karen was ramping up her attacks, I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was going on. I caught glimpses of someone lingering near my property, always just out of sight but definitely watching. At first, I thought it was Karen's doing, but as days passed, I realized this mystery watcher didn't match her usual style. It was like there was another player in this neighborhood game, someone who had their own agenda, and maybe even more at stake. The pool itself became a focal point, not just for Karen's complaints, but for this growing tension between neighbors. Some whispered that I was stirring up trouble. Others said I was standing up for my rights. I found myself wondering, was this slippery blue gel prank just a small spark that lit a fire bigger than I expected? And if so, was I ready for what might come next? One evening, as the sun was setting and shadows grew longer, I noticed something unusual on my front porch. A note. No name, just a warning. Watch your back. This isn't over. My heart raced. Who sent it? And what did they really want? The quiet neighborhood was anything but calm now. The stage was set, and the tension was at its highest. What happened next would change everything. That note on my porch shook me more than I expected. I kept replaying the words in my head. Watch your back. This isn't over. Who could it be? At first, I suspected Karen, but something about the handwriting didn't feel like hers. Plus, her tactics were usually loud and obvious. This felt different, more personal, like someone wanted to send a message without getting caught. Then, just a few days later, things took a sharp turn. I came home to find my backyard gate slightly ajar. Nothing seemed stolen, but the feeling of someone invading my space without permission hit me hard. My pool was still calm and blue, but now it felt like a trap. Something wasn't right. The blue gel prank that was meant to keep Karen in check suddenly seemed to have opened a whole new can of worms. Neighbors started whispering about strange lights and noises late at night. Some swore they'd seen unfamiliar cars parked near my house. The once quiet community felt like it was hiding secrets, and I was right in the middle of it. I wondered, was this about the pool? Or had the tension between me and Karen just uncovered something bigger lurking beneath the surface? With every new message and every suspicious glance, the stakes kept rising. What started as a simple boundary dispute was turning into something much darker. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, an unexpected ally appeared, someone I never thought would step in. But could I trust them? Or was this just another twist in a game I didn't fully understand yet? The mystery was far from over, and the next move could change everything. The night everything came to a head started like any other, but I had a feeling something big was about to happen. I stayed up late, watching my backyard from the window, the pool's blue glow reflecting in the darkness. Then, out of nowhere, I saw a figure moving near the gate, slow, deliberate steps. I grabbed my phone and quietly stepped outside, heart pounding. As the figure got closer, I recognized it. It wasn't Karen. It was one of the neighbors I barely knew, someone who'd always seemed friendly but kept their distance. Turns out, this person had been watching Karen just as closely as I had, because they'd noticed her bending HOA rules to push her own agenda. The note, the warnings, even the mysterious visits, they weren't from Karen, but from this neighbor trying to protect me in their own way. We talked for hours that night, piecing together a bigger picture of the HOA drama and how Karen had been abusing her power. With their help, I gathered enough evidence to bring the whole issue to the HOA board. Karen was confronted, her overreach exposed, and the pool drama finally came to a close. I could finally enjoy my backyard in peace. But just as I thought the nightmare was over, I found one last surprise, a hidden camera buried near the pool filter. Someone had been recording everything, and it wasn't Karen or my secret ally. The question now, who was really watching me this whole time? The story wasn't finished yet. After finding the hidden camera, I knew I had to take action fast. I reported it to the HOA board and even involved the local authorities to investigate who had placed it there. It turned out to be someone completely unexpected, a neighbor who had been jealous of the attention Karen was getting and was secretly stirring up trouble to make the situation worse. With that mystery solved, the neighborhood finally began to calm down. Karen's role in the HOA was officially limited, and rules about privacy and property boundaries were clarified to prevent this kind of drama in the future. Looking back, this whole experience taught me a lot about standing up for myself and setting clear boundaries. The slippery blue gel prank wasn't just about a silly revenge. It was about reclaiming my space and sending a message that no one should cross the line without permission. It also showed me how important it is to pay attention to what's really going on beneath the surface, even in a quiet neighborhood. In the end, I'm grateful for the support of a few good neighbors and the chance to take control of my own backyard again. And if Karen ever thinks about dropping by uninvited again, well, let's just say the pool's blue glow might get a little slippery once more.